Hello, everybody. My name is Chidi. I welcome you to our program today. This is a little bit impromptu, but you know what? With the situation in Nigeria now, everything has to go. It's just the way we see it. We take it as we see it. We take it hot, hot, hot because there's no room for slacking now. I'm telling you, it's if you don't know what's going on in Nigeria, then maybe you've passed, like you've entered into that sleep where nobody can wake you. But you need to be awake. You need to be alert because nobody knows. It's almost like the last days in the Bible when Jesus Christ will come, and you don't know. Honestly, I know it sounds extreme, but that's what it is. You don't know what's going to happen, but surely you know something is about to happen. That's one thing everybody knows. Both the people who are realists and the people who want to deceive themselves, everybody knows that something is about to happen. Something is actually happening. And it's a privilege for me, it's a huge honor to have in the studio today somebody whose life he has devoted to working to bring to the front burner the situation in Nigeria. He's not Nigerian, but like the passion with which he talks about Nigeria, it makes me very jealous because I'm like, oh my goodness, how can this guy be talking about Nigeria like this? Hold on, he even has a chieftaincy title. That's the one like blew me away. Come on, hold on, what's going on here? So, ladies and gentlemen, it's with pleasure that I want to welcome to the studio today, Mayor Mike Arnold.
How
Thank you
you
so much. Thank you so much, Mike.
doing good. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Yes, Mike. Like I said, you're an encyclopedia of Nigeria. Almost, you know every part of Nigeria. I'm sure you probably speak some of Nigerian's language, or at least you can understand it. And you went so far as to even have a chieftaincy title. What are you telling me? So please tell us how that. Let's start from there. How did you come to be nicknamed Akuchuku? Akuchuku
Eze
Eze.
Eze
Eze.
Okochukwu Ninye.
Eze Ogochukwu na-enye.
Yeah. I have the coral
Eze
necklace
Okechukwu
and
na-enye. Yes.
all that.
Eze
Yeah.
Okechukwu na-enye.
Let me grab
Yes.
something. Give me a second. I'll show
Yeah,
you.
go ahead. Go ahead. Grab
Yeah,
it.
it's
Grab
right
it.
here. This is my little. That's why I carry my naira in when I'm in Nigeria.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I've got coral
No, you
necklace.
should put it on your neck. You should put it
Yeah,
on your neck. Yes.
bracelet and all that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I never set my mind on world travel. Never thought about going to Africa or Nigeria.
Mhm. Yeah.
In 2010, I had built a youth ministry that grew nationwide across the United States. Spent a decade doing it. A man on my board of directors was a very renowned evangelist, and he was invited to be keynote speaker at the Unity for Africa International Ministry Leadership Conference in Owerri and Abuja that year,
Mm.
2010. He invited me to go with him just to accompany him, just to have the experience. At that time, I was not a public speaker. I never was a publisher. Um, and I said, okay, got the visas and all that, met the organizer, Professor John Ofwebu. And at the last minute, my buddy had to cancel.
Oh.
And what I thought we were going. And he said, well, I told him you could take my place. So I ended up keynote speaking for this 2 week long, 1 week in Owerri, 1 week in Abuja ministry leadership conference. And a total of 3 weeks there with just me and Professor Ofwebu. And and I was invited back, the first person in their history of 20 years to be invited back to do it the next time. But I just fell in love with the country. God really spoke to me about his plans for it, and he has big plans for it. And really felt deeply in love, I guess the right word, with Professor Ofwebu. He's the most Christ-like man I ever met. He took me to his village of Ngugo outside of Owerri, to his homestead, and in his living room that he prayed his mantle on me. And I can still remember it to this day. And he talked about what I'm walking in now. He spoke that, and 4 years, I kept going back with him, traveling all over the country, took other Americans with us from time to time, and 4 years later, we buried him in that same village in Gogu.
Oh,
And I kept going, and here we are.
wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. I think I have a video of that clip where I think it was when you went back a second time or another time. But tell me if this is the
Uh-oh.
what you're talking about. I'm gonna show you this.
Okay.
And is this what you're talking about? Is that the
Oh,
one?
that was from 2021.
Oh yeah.
Actually, yeah, I've been to Nigeria 16 times. I've probably spoken it. Probably, I don't know,
But
100.
these people, they were so excited. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this.
Let's stand to our feet as we welcome my covenant brother, Apostle Mike Arnold, all the way from the United States of America.
This is a good guy. I've known him a while.
The living legend, the true definition of a Renaissance man, Mr. Mike Arnold.
I don't know if it's that or just ADD.
Prioritize the basics: roads, utilities, and public safety.
Let it never be said again that the city of Blanco has water scarcity issues. I founded a statewide television network. This was in the .com boom. I was 27 when we started that. It was a $40 million startup. The first fully digital network from the field to the affiliate. That was declared the most sophisticated television production facility in the world at the time.
And so your group went over there and started a school, and now you're going back, and this is school number
Three. Number three,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Hey, I'm from Texas, and Texas has cowboys. And cowboys, when they're excited, they don't say woo. What do they say? They say. So I want to teach you to say, yeah, keep excited.
Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh my goodness, the video stopped. Anyways,
You're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing me.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious. Yee-hoo! Yee-hoo! All right.
Yeah, that's
So-
that's what cowboys say when they're excited. So.
Okay, so do that for us. I want to hear it from you.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Yeah, I got it. Okay, Mike. Honestly, when I went to your website and I saw that, I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy didn't tell me it was all that. I mean, you're so like you've been around. I know what it means to be mayor, but you never carried yourself like that. When I first got in contact with you, and that was when you were facing a press conference, and then you were trying to report on your last visit to Nigeria, and that actually endeared me more to you because somebody who is all that we just saw in that video, and yet you had this passion to do the work that you do in Nigeria. That really, really caught my attention, and I was hoping I'll get a chance to talk to you one-on-one and get to know the man Arnold, not just what I read in the papers, not just what the third columnists have been pushing out there, but just to get to know you for who you are. So I'm going to start by asking you this question. Who is Mike Arnold?
I am, first and foremost, I'm a son of God, and try to walk in that every day. And that's what I aim to make my primary identity and purpose. There's nothing more important than that. I'm a husband of 30 something years now. It changes every year, but over 30 years. I've got 4 grown children. I've got 4 grandchildren. I've got 2 dogs and 2 cats, and live out in the country, a peaceful life in a small town in Texas. We have a little family construction company, and make an honest living.
Thank you so much, Mike. Now let's talk about Nigeria. What kind of work have you done in Nigeria? What describe for us what jobs you have done in Nigeria and what that meant to you. Just take us through that experience, okay? I would like to see the ones that were exciting, the ones that were challenging, the ones that brought you to tears. Just like tell me your Nigerian story.
Well, we don't have that long. Again, 16 trips over 15 years. With some side trips thrown in, like going on Reno Omokri's birthday party in Kenya last year, with some of the most powerful people in the country, crazy stuff like that. But the main thing, so it started out as really an evangelist. That was the mode that Professor Ofebu, we followed. When I went with him multiple times, we traveled across the country speaking at churches, speaking at schools, and meeting with leaders. And otherwise visiting, we would go and preach in a prison or visit an orphanage, even went to a leper colony. Occasionally brought other Americans with me.
Yeah.
In his last year of life, he had lived in the United States, raised his children here, but had done extensive mission work, and his heart was in Nigeria. He was offered U.S. citizenship on more than one occasion and turned it down because he didn't want anything to come between him and his love for his motherland. Towards the end of his life, after 20 years of this, he felt called by God. He said, I've never brought anything home, but God has given me great connections, and I feel I'm supposed to use that to leave something for my family. And so his last year of life, he didn't know he was dying. That came suddenly. He founded a construction company for heavy infrastructure, highways, and such. And I was on the board. The chairman of the board was General Yakubu Gowon. And I got to know him fairly well over the meetings. Started. I gave a presentation to the NNPC board of directors for pipeline security, their entire pipeline, a complete presentation. I had the former lead technologist for the CIA that was on the team to help with the technology. Didn't bribe the right people. I actually gave a pitch to the board of the NNPC, or not the Minister of Transport, the whole Minister of Transport and his senior board, for a high-speed rail line between Lagos and Abuja. It was a 40 billion euro project. Had a great team put together. And I believe that's when the Chinese premier came over and gave his presentation and bribed all the people. So we didn't get that. But we were in the midst of that when Professor Ofebu passed away, and all of that stopped. That just disappeared. And so did his ministry work. He had built the Unity for Africa, but the leadership didn't step in to keep it up. He had mentored and raised up all the people, and they just they kept going. I kept going back and doing some speaking and the same old stuff. But in 2019, founded a new organization, Africa Rise, with my longtime covenant brother there in Abuja, and started with a speaking tour. And I was on that trip. God led me to an IDP camp in Abuja, completely a miraculous detour, and that changed everything. It was finding that camp. Since then, I've been back since 2019 7 times with a documentary camera doing investigation, oftentimes very dangerous. There was level 4 do not travel, which is like combat zone from the State Department. It went anyway. At one point, we were just getting ready to go over there to do documentary filmmaking when the government of Nigeria arrested documentary filmmakers from Israel, and they disappeared. It was 4 days from departure when they were released. And when they got home, they said we were tortured every day. And right after that, we left to fly right in. So it's been fun. But God has opened so many doors. I mean, in addition to General Gowon, I've gotten to know Good Luck Jonathan. I've met and talked with pretty much most of the top national figures: Minister of Information, Minister of Foreign Affairs, NSA, the Senate President, and on and on and on. Cardinal Oniakin, I've prayed with him in his private chapel on 2 occasions. God has really just opened so many doors. It's crazy. And here we are today.
Wow. I mean, it's no brainer that you know Nigeria. I mean, nobody can deny that. So most definitely, you're speaking with authority based on first-hand experience. So I would believe that I would want to believe you when you tell me anything about Nigeria, from the perspective that you have just described. So let's zoom in on Christians and the big issue on the table now, persecution of Christians, and terrorism in Nigeria. What would you say was your experience, moving around these ID camps? Um, of course, you wrote a report, and I'm sure that report can be accessed somewhere. But in summary, how would you describe what you saw that went on amongst communities and how they ended up in IDP camps, and what is their experience inside those IDP camps?
It, it's the most tragic, horrific thing that you can possibly imagine. Imagine if you were wandering through Germany in 1940 and just stumbled into Auschwitz.
Wow.
It really is that caliber of human tragedy and of crimes against humanity. It really is that caliber. And I believe this is going to be the biggest story on earth in coming months and maybe longer. What's happening in Nigeria is the old adage over here, the frog in the pot, where it's you don't just throw a frog into a pot of boiling water. You put it in the warm water and then you turn it up and let it gradually get higher. It never jumps out. The whole population of Nigeria are the frogs in the pot, and it's been boiling. But what do? What can they do about it? They speak up. The government smacks them down, or worse. And the government's been gaslighting people all along. Specifically, and this is where I've seen it most. I can't speak to well, I can to some of it, like in Gwoza. I can tell you exactly what happened with the Gwoza massacre because I've interviewed dozens of people who all have the same stories from their own perspective. And so, I know what happened there. But I don't know in all the other places. But I do know this. The treatment of the IDPs today, the treatment of the 4 to 10 million Nigerian productive, peaceful, a lot of them educated, professional, successful, wonderful, amazing people that have been forcibly evicted off their land and forced to live in these concentration camps, these hellholes. This constitutes legally today a charge of genocide against the Nigerian government and the president. They're guilty of genocide legally with precedent because of what they've done to the IDPs, what they're still doing to the IDPs. But the government line all along, these concentration camps are everywhere, including the middle of Abuja. There's at least 6 of them in the FCT. But they're officially known as homeless camps and vagrants and criminals. That is what the government calls them from the top to bottom, and what it has been for a decade. Even the journalists. I did a press conference 2 years ago, opening up. We laid a foundation for a new school in a 3rd camp. I run schools in IDP camps in Abuja. We have about 600 students, but we laid the foundation for a 3rd one. Did a press conference, spoke about our work specifically over and over. We build these in IDP camps. We serve IDP children. And the newspaper article came out saying we did it in rural communities for disadvantaged people. Purge the whole language. And here's the thing, among other things. First of all, these are the eyewitnesses of genocide. They can tell you exactly what happened. That's why the government wants to stomp them out. But also, the huge tragedy is the international community has the money and the mandate to take care of every single IDP and refugee on the face of the earth. The money is there, the mandate is there. The World Food Program, the UNHCR, all of them, and the Red Cross and Samaritan's Purse. But they won't touch it in Nigeria because Nigeria denies that they exist. They deny they exist. So all they would have to do is say, they're here, and they would be taken care of. But that would mean they would talk to the press. That means their stories would be told. the entire government of Nigeria is not only built on sand, it's built on sewage. And it is entirely permeated with people who are at the least compliant and cowardly about this, but complicit and benefiting from this culture of jihad and genocide. It's woven into the very structure of the government and everything about it. There's I don't see that there's much redeemable about the Nigerian government. They're certainly not going to help. They're certainly not going to tell the truth because they're all worried about the human rights trials to come, and they should be. They should all be going to prison or executed for the perpetration of this genocide that's ongoing.
Wow, Mike,
that's strong, huh?
Yeah, that was very strong. But you know what's outstanding to me about this, hearing you speak like this, is I know that you know these people. You already told us here, you know some of these highly placed people. You've worked directly with them. You have respect for them. So for you to actually sound like this, not because this is going to cost you a lot of friendships. This is going to cost you so much. So I'm wondering. I'm just it's just astounding why you would actually speak like this. It means it's coming from a place where you are choosing truth over friendship or any other thing.
What's friendship if it's based on a lie? I never said I was friends with those people. Acquaintances, friendly acquaintance is not necessarily a friend. I can count my real friends on one hand, and I think most people could really say the same thing. Just because there's a little picture on your friend list on Facebook doesn't mean that person's a friend.
Exactly.
You can have a nice meeting and be cordial and chat with somebody. It doesn't mean you're their friend, or vice versa. So yeah, what difference does it make? I just, I'm here to follow God, and the truth is the truth. And if you're hurt by that, that's your problem. It's not mine. I didn't set out to hurt. Actually, it grieved me, and people around me can tell you it grieved me to hurt Reno Omokri. I didn't desire that, but God called me to swing the sword of truth, and He was standing in the way. And I have to do what God. It's not my fault you put your head on the chopping block. God told me to hit the chopping block. You put your head there. I'm just telling the truth. Let the chips fall where they may. I only answer to God. If I was still trying to please men, I would not be a servant of Jesus Christ. That's what Paul said, and I walk that way too.
That's right. Awesome. Talking about speaking the truth and hurting people, and to touch that area, I want to talk about President Trump. So recently, it's been in the news. President Trump, has been, outspoken concerning Nigeria. First, he threatened that if the Nigerian government didn't do anything in the direction of attending to the problem of terrorism and the persecution of Christians in Nigeria, he was going to get tougher with them. And with the following days, he's doubled down, because he thinks not a good reaction was gotten from the government. And following that, there have been people rising up in support of the government saying all kinds of things. But I'm just going to ask you now this question, and this will help a lot of Nigerians who, some of them are confused because the government is spending so much money, on propaganda, on counter news. But I want to ask you this. Do you think President Trump is serious about Nigeria? But first of all, do you agree with President Trump that there is need to take action against the government of Nigeria based on the situation in the country?
Let me take you again to, and it's not a crazy comparison. I believe it's a historical parallel. If you stumbled into Auschwitz in 1940,
yep,
what would you do about it? Would you expect Hitler to fix it if you asked him nicely? Notice Hitler never broke any laws. He never violated their constitution. He was duly elected. there's no way that you would, oh, gee, let's use diplomacy. How did that work for Neville Chamberlain? And France, and all those countries. Trump doesn't mess around. Trump has, he's an old man. He's got a couple years left. And I believe, I don't believe there's ever been a public official at that level in the world history that's actually gone down in net worth during their tenure. Trump has, because he's all in it for the cause. I believe that wholeheartedly. I've watched him. I was not a supporter of his when he first ran in 2016. I was very much against him, but he earned my trust by doing what he said he was going to do and not messing around. And this term especially, my gosh, he's ended 8 wars, and that's not propaganda. The presidents of those countries have nominated him for the Nobel Prize. He brought peace to the Middle East. Even Hillary Clinton said it was a great thing. I mean, that's remarkable, What does he do next? He ends genocide. And also, this is an existential threat, not just for Nigeria. It's a threat for the world, the United States included. When you look at the actual purpose of the jihad and the fact that it's been globalized and their own stated goals and their own stated promotional materials, they intend to hijack Nigeria, use the resources to take jihad around the world. That's their stated purpose, and that's what they're on track to do if they're not stopped. And the government's not going to stop them. The government is completely interwoven with them. And there is no government apart from that. And there's none of that apart from the government, ultimately. And so, yeah, if it's going to be stopped, it has to be, the world has to put their foot down and say, we can't allow this cancer to grow. And that's what it is. This is a malignant cancer at a very advanced stage. You got Al Qaeda, you got ISIS, these sworn enemies of light and love and peace and prosperity around the world. They want to raise the black flag of jihad over every capital in the world. And they're headquartered in Nigeria. General Michael Langley, the head of AFRICOM, just recently before Congress testified, this is the epicenter of global terrorism. This is the epicenter of global terrorism. Feeding off the resources of the country, enlarging their territory through genocide. And they're not going to stop. And you expect Tinubu to say please? Gosh, how do you think he's not going to go there? But no, they're why do you think they're trying to hide it? Why do you think they're spending so much money to deflect international attention? It's not because they can handle it themselves. It's because they know what the scrutiny is going to bring. It's going to indict them all.
Wow. So Trump is serious about coming to Nigeria and even bringing troops to Nigeria.
Was he serious about taking the nuclear capability away from Iran? Trump's foreign policy, if you look at it, it's pretty darn simple. Let's all just get along. Let's just do our own thing. You let me be me, I'll let you be you, and we can trade fairly, freely, and let's all prosper. This peace is a good thing. It's pretty chill. That's his foreign policy. But if you violate that, if you threaten that, if you threaten us, you will never see it coming, and there's nowhere you can hide. You're out. You're done. He doesn't give too many second chances. He is working for a peaceful, prosperous, equitable world. But if you're a threat to that, and you won't come in line, again, look at the Iran nuclear facility. Those two countries, Iran and Israel, were really duking it out. They were at the edge of full-scale total war with each other. It was really, really bad. And what it was about was Iran's nuclear capability. So what did Trump do? It is, if you look at the most sophisticated military operation in the world for a single mission, by far. And there was not one leak. Think about that. Not one heads up. He went on TV and said, I'll make a decision within 2 weeks. 2 days later, they dropped, and Iran never even detected it. 300 feet underground, they dropped 16 bunker buster bombs down the same hole, one after the other. And they were gone before Iran even knew they were there. Okay.
I know.
That's not an invasion. That's not he could have, with a couple more bombs, toppled the government. That's not his goal. But he ended it. And it ended. That ended it, And he's going to just the same way.
Sorry, I'm cutting you off. You said something remarkable now. He took out this nuclear facility without putting boots on the ground.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So, just to be clear, and this is very important for Nigerians here, and I heard Trump speak, I think it was yesterday or today. He actually owned up that the terrorism in Nigeria is against Christians and every other person who is affected. So that strikes me like, because a lot of people have accused him of just focusing on Christians. So when I heard him say that, that means he recognizes that it's not only Christians who are being terrorized, even though he's focusing on Christians. Now, my question is this, and this is what has been boggling me, and I need this to be cleared. When this intervention comes, however it's going to be, it's going to be against the terrorists. So this war, this attack is on the terrorists, right?
Yeah, I would imagine. Look, I'm not connected with the government here whatsoever.
Mhm.
I'm a private citizen, and my
Yes.
mayor's job was a town of 2,000 people, and it was just a monthly stipend that
No,
comes.
no, you're not speaking like a
I'm
government
not
official. No, no, no.
the government,
You don't represent US.
but if you look all the way back, ever since Trump's been a public figure, and this goes 30, 40 years, even when he was a Democrat, he always talked about war being horrible and pointless, and he's always been a man of peace, and a man of peace through strength. He's always talked about ending war and getting it unentangled from endless wars. That is very consistent, not only for all of his public statements over 40 years, but all of his action as president. Now, he will have overwhelming force at his fingertips. He's not going to. I don't know what it'll take. I don't know. I suspect this could be a lot harder fight than some people think, not because it's the Nigerian aspect of it, because of the global aspect of it. We have Al Qaeda there, we have ISIS there, we have these well-funded global groups, and so it could get messy. But we have the technology, we have the satellites, we have the drones, we have the jets, we have. I mean, I think the vast majority of it can be done with the push of a button, like instantly. And then he'll stand ready to do what's next to follow up. I don't know what that is. He can't know what that is, but I know he's not putting us in a position, A, to have a long drawn out war, or B, to be unsuccessful. He will be successful as fast as he humanly can with as minimal blood and as minimal boots on the ground as possible. That's my reading of his whole life and his whole actions as president. It'll be surgical, but it'll be whatever's necessary. Whatever is necessary to win quickly and to be done and go home. That's what he's always done.
Because thank you so much for that. And let me clearly state here that I don't consider you as a spokesperson for the US government. I just see you as an individual who has done work in Nigeria, who has some experience from both ends. So we're having this discussion from perspective of of a citizen, who has in-depth knowledge about those two countries. That's really what it is. And if anybody is listening and is going to misquote you out of context and say a US citizen speaking for the US government, I'll come after you to prove that you're a mischief maker. Okay.
I wish I had a paycheck from the government. I'd take it. I could they have great healthcare benefits. God.
I know. But you see, you know why I had to bring this up is this. I try to make sense amongst my friends, and I ask this question, and maybe I'm going to ask you these questions too. We recognize that there are terrorists in Nigeria, and they say yes. And okay, we recognize that these terrorists have been attacking Christians. They say yes, but not only Christians. And they say, why do you say it's Muslim extremists and terrorists that are attacking Christians? And I ask them, who do these people profess to be? What religion do they profess? And answer is Islam. Okay, you don't want us to say they're Islamic jihadis, whatever name you call them, but that's who they are. And then they move on to, but they don't attack only Christians. They attack even Muslims too, and all of that, and pagans, just nominal people. And Okay, I agree with you. But my question, and that's why the government con- continues to confound me in the way they've been behaving, is if someone says that our agreed common enemy is going to be eliminated, don't doesn't it make sense that if these people whom, okay, we now agree that it's not only Christians, if they are eliminated, then both the Christians and the non-Christians are free from these people. So why is that difficult to understand?
That is the greatest hypocrisy, and it's the most glaring proof of their complicity.
Hmm.
Even at the press conference the other day, when all the world was watching, I gave my report, and my report says this is a genocide against Christians and others. And I go into the example for that that's well documented, that when the protocol, when they go into a village or when they pull a bus over, they separate Christians from Muslims, men from women. First, they kill the Christian men.
Mhm.
Okay, so yeah, that is targeted. But then they go to the Muslims and say, "Join us or die." And the
Mhm.
ones that say they'll join them, they challenge them on the Quran. I've heard they'll even have them pull out their pants to see if they're circumcised.
Mm.
And then they sell the women into sex slavery or give them away as brides. It is a Christian first and then everybody else thing. And the reason you hear the Christian language is the Christians are the only ones speaking about it. They're the only ones trying to get attention. They're the only ones trying to stop this. I would love for the Muslim brothers and sisters to stand beside us, and then it could be a human thing. But at this press conference, one of these radical Muslim northern imams that I was stuck in this photo op with, he stood up. I had just read the conclusion saying that it's everybody. He stood up. He said, "But it's not just Christian. It's Muslims too." And I said, "Well, exactly. That means we should stand together to fight against it." And he glared at me and sat down.
Mhm.
He glared at me. Their way of answering it is it's like, okay, it's done. You know, we resolved this. It's Muslims too. So shut up. What? But that's you've seen it too. You know, oh, it's Muslims too. Okay, so
Yeah,
just ignore it now. It's okay. What
because
the hell?
because you see that's the confusion. That's the confusion. Okay, um, Christians were screaming, "Oh, we're paying!" Like we have a proverb that you can't beat a child and tell them how to cry. No, no, you can't cry like this. This is the cry for this, and this is the cry. You beat a child, they're just gonna cry. So Christians are crying, and you're asking them why are they not also crying for Muslims? Well, they don't know whether you're even being pained. Like they're focusing on themselves. They're screaming. If you feel pain, you should probably be crying too. That you don't want to cry. It's not the other person's business. Okay, I don't get it. And now they're coming to free everybody. We've moved on from the first day that everybody was like, "Oh, Trump said Christian." Even Trump has said Christians and others. So now that he has said Christian and others, so what's the next thing? I'm not hearing. So the next thing is let's not do anything. I told one of my friends, I said, the blood of any single Nigerian is not worth sacrificing on the altar of waiting, giving the government a little more chance to do something. Because while we're still waiting for the government to get their acts together, that is 20 more people killed, 100 more people, because that's how they kill 60 more people, 70 more people, 200 more people, just like that. So if we're going to do anything, let's do it right now. And then we can talk about the rest later.
That's right. That's right. And that that's another what I've been telling folks. Uh, and I my first trips to Nigeria, my papa, my title are from the South. They're Igbo, and I consider that my family in Nigeria. I've never had a bad experience. But I can't recognize a person from tribe to tribe. I really don't. I'm tribe blind. To me, it's a family thing. It's not a division thing.
Yeah.
The diaspora here, great people in the United States, millions. About 80% are Igbo, and as such, a lot of them are separatist. and you know, they've tried to pull me into that, and I just keep saying no. That's just not the time for that. I'm not going to say what I think or don't think. God hasn't told me to, but gosh, there's a common enemy. We have a chance to address it. Why do you want to muddy the water, complicate it, and fight a two-front war, and derail this effort? If you do get your freedom or your independence, you don't want a neighbor like that anyway. Let's work together, table that stuff, get it off, stop kicking that up. There'll be time for that once peace is secured. But let's focus on a common enemy now that unites us.
Yeah, but
let's clear the land, and then you can have a conversation with your neighbors about where to draw the line. You know, but
can I tell you something? No, Mike, can I tell you something? This is speaking from the perspective of somebody who really knows, who's been involved in this separatist thing that you talked about. Because I saw your tweet, and I respect that. I appreciate you, you know, trying to say, hey guys, my job is cut out for me. This is what I'm focused on. I don't want to get into the Biafran thing and all that. But let me just let you know this, that if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is right now, you know, incarcerated, and everybody from the Southeast, most people who believe in his struggle are saying, why should you keep him there when other terrorists, you're holding meetings with them? For him, it is not about, okay, you know what, the terrorism doesn't concern me. I'm just fighting to come out. Honestly, on the other hand, this is what his whole fight has been. Honestly, let me tell you, when he called for Biafra, he was calling for Biafra because this same terrorists were attacked. Remember, Mike, that the people who are the greatest number of Christians in Nigeria, they're from the Southeast. It's mostly the largest number of Christians, I can tell you, will be Igbos in Nigeria. I stand to be corrected, maybe right or wrong, but
let me say something if I can.
Yeah.
I know what you're going to say. I know the issues very deeply, and I know them in my heart. And all I'm saying is be patient. We have an opportunity here to purge the land of evil if we stand together.
Yes.
And then is the time to pursue that.
I understand.
And that's all I'm saying. I
Absolutely.
understand the history. I understand that Nigeria was never a colony. It was never a country. It was two extraction corporations that were lumped together for administrative convenience and also for control. That the British liked the indirect rule. They liked the totalitarian leaders to use as puppet masters. And they wanted the resource from the South, but they couldn't govern the unruly Igbo people. And so they handed the whole federal system over to the tyrants. I know that. You know, it's history. Nobody can argue that. And I'm deeply sympathetic with the cause. All I'm saying is, let's table that just for a little while, a little bit longer, and then the future will be better for everybody. If there is a division, it can be done in peace instead of.
Mike, let me give you let me give you assurance on behalf of these people. If someone can say, oh, he's a spokesperson, I agree. I'm an indigenous person of Biafra. So, but I can tell you this, Mike, we're all 100%. If anybody tells you that anybody who believes in that ideology, do you know what it is actually? What the Igbo man actually wants is just peace to do his business anywhere in Nigeria. Honestly, if Nigeria was okay, the Igbo man would not even care about Biafra. You know,
Nigeria. Roles were reversed. What if and now the South had the federal system underneath them,
present, like functioning. We wouldn't care about Biafra.
First, you wouldn't be waging genocide against anybody else. It would be a nation of peace and prosperity.
Yeah,
and
all opportunities.
The North now has a whole lot more resources in the South in the new economy with the lithium and the rare earths and the gold. You know, you don't really want to leave a malignant cancer there with that kind of resources. You're setting yourself for forever war. work as Nigerians together with other Nigerians to clean up the land. Now that you have international attention, international help, I'm telling you, if you want to stop international intervention, start the revolution now. That's gonna blow the whole place up. Be Nigerians for just a little bit longer, and then you can have this conversation, and you might change your minds at the end of this.
No, honestly, I know, Mike, if anybody, I can tell you this for free. If anybody comes and does anything that sees justice and equity reigning in Nigeria, I can promise you this, as someone who is a child of God and a trained minister of the gospel, I can give you my assurance and my word for it that nobody will be talking about Biafra. We are, honestly speaking, the same Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If you watch his videos, and I know you know the story, you will see that he was not preaching about Biafra initially. He was talking about the good of Nigeria. But when he was like, these guys are not listening, then it's them. They pushed him to where he is. But let's leave that for now. I really appreciate your message, and your message is well taken. Right now, we are focusing on the persecution of Christians. We are focusing on terrorism in Nigeria. Let's stamp out that evil, and let's see let's now come to the table. Because the problem is the government now won't even let you come to the table.
That's right.
Won't even let you talk. So I agree with you. Let's clean up. And for those who have been afraid, you've heard it this night. Nobody's coming to kill any Muslim. They are coming to kill the terrorists. And if you are a Muslim terrorist, there's no mercy for you. If you are a Christian terrorist, there's no mercy for you. It doesn't matter what nomenclature you identify yourself as. If we can see that element of terrorism behind you, before you, on you, around you, you're going to, I think, those things that will come to clear things, I think they have a terrorism sensor on them. So if they find it on you, even a speck of it, I think you're going to be eliminated, right, Mike?
I think it's coming one way or another. And here's one thing I encourage all Nigerians: be the Nigeria you want to be, not the one that you've been forced into. Manifest the values that you want to see manifest. Don't vengeance is not ours. Vengeance is the Lord's, and vengeance is the law's. This is not about, hey, now we get them back. This is not, hey, they've been doing this to us, now we get to do it to them. That is just perpetuating the cycle of death, and it's going to be a tyranny, but it's just going to have a different name. And manifest the vision that you have of peace and equity and justice and rule of law, and behave accordingly. That's how you win this, and that's how you win the peace, and that's how you achieve prosperity. You cannot fight an evil person with evil. You cannot fight a murderer with murder, or you're a murderer too, and you become just like them. You can't have this it's wrong to kill people for what they believe, but we're going to kill you. That's manifest the Nigeria that you dream about and that you want your children and grandchildren to raise up in. It starts with you, and it starts today. How you behave this season is what Nigeria is going to become. So I'm not saying be weak. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying be the soldiers of the Lord, unstoppable, victorious force, but manifest the kingdom of God and manifest the vision of Nigeria that you believe and is possible. Because if you don't manifest it, it'll never be manifest. It has to start with every single Nigerian today that loves God, their own God, and that believes in righteousness, believes in peace. That's what it must be built on, or it's going to be the same forever.
Mike, I really want to thank you for coming on. Sometimes you get so stuck in a particular thing that it doesn't make meaning again to you. You actually lose sight of what you're doing. But sometimes you need to hear it from a friend, from someone who has seen you, has known you, has interacted with you. Sometimes they need to hug you and say, hey, I know you. I need you to be you. And that's what you're saying. You're saying, look, guys, I know what you are. I know the potentials that you have. And I know that you guys can make it better, and that's what we're looking for. And Mike, I want to appreciate people like you who sound like true friends of Nigeria. It's not every white man that sounds like you. I like so you're the kind of friend, true friend that Nigeria needs right now, and we appreciate the work that you've done in Nigeria. We appreciate your sincerity. We appreciate your being forward, with stuff, not holding back. That's really an inspiration to so many of us, and we'll take your advice. I'll share this tape far and wide. I'm gonna cut a clip where you were speaking to Nigerians because that was very incisive, and it came out of a place of love, and somebody who really really means well for Nigeria. I want to thank you and to encourage you that please, whatever you see that will help us get out of where we are right now, it is appreciated. Do not be discouraged by people who, honestly, those that are with you, you know, that are greater than those that are
Oh, yeah.
against you. Honestly.
I got a message the other day saying this couple that we're going to name their first child after me. that means 50,000 hate tweets. That means more to me than anything.
Listen, you see, uh, trust me, there'll be that day will still come when we'll look back at today and we'll say, oh, we remember when there was so much confusion. And it's not always going to be bad. Nigeria is a beautiful place. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on holiday in Nigeria, catching up with you. And we're just having another interview and recounting when stuff is like this. I'm looking forward to a time when your schools are no longer existing and your schools are now turned into your school should move from the IDP camps. You know what? I think those people who were misquoting you, they were actually prophesying into your life. Those that instead of talking about the schools in the IDP camps, we're talking about the schools in those communities. They are seeing a period when IDP camps no longer existed, and there was
Amen.
no
Amen.
longer need for your school. So when they see it, they don't see what you're seeing right now. That's just the administration I'm getting right now. So we're going to see schools that you establish right in the communities where people will go to the schools from their homes, not from tents, not from makeshift houses.
Mm.
And we'll celebrate it, we'll think about it, and we'll work with you. There's so many things. I have a foundation, My Roots Foundation. We're going to open so many things together. I see you. I see you just opening, just empowering people, scholarships, boreholes, advising government, helping with agriculture, because there's so much to do in Nigeria. There's so much potential. And you are fully equipped. You know it all. You know construction, you know IT, you know AI. So which other person is more suited than someone like you? So yeah, we're looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Mike, for coming. And please, when I invite you again, oblige me and come and speak to us.
This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. And I look forward to coming back on anytime.
Thank you so much, Mike. All right. Okay, guys, that's Mayor Mike Arnold. Very, very pleasant fellow, very down to earth, and very truthful. He's not. He didn't sugarcoat anything. Most of you that are joining right now, sorry we didn't put a date and a time because I was rushing to make the flyer. So a lot of you didn't know we were coming on immediately. Okay, so I see a lot of you asking for time. So if you're watching this right now, just make sure that you share it. Make sure that you cut. There's so many clips, so many interesting clips of Mike admonishing Nigerians, advising, encouraging, inspiring us. Let's cut those clips. Let's spread this around because this is a period where Nigeria needs to put on their thinking caps, needs to act wisely, and so that we can pull out of this better off. We don't want to pull out of this and we have destroyed our country. We don't want to pull out of this and we are worse than we got into it. Okay, our government got us to where we are right now, but power belongs to the people. It's our nation. We are able to bring out to. He says, Mike just said, the Nigeria that we want to see, wherever part of Nigeria you're from, that Nigeria that you want to see, let's begin to project it and it will happen for everybody. Everybody, you that is looking for equity, you that is looking for justice, you that is looking for prosperity, whatever it is you're looking for in Nigeria, it is possible if we begin to act like that. And if you don't have anything there's nothing for you to fear. If they are coming to eliminate people, if they are coming to decommission people, neutralize people, whatever language they're using, it's not for you. And if you are the person that feels it is for you, they're giving you some time to kind of change. I don't know how that change will be, but if you don't change and you're still stuck in what you're doing, when that wind blows, it's going to catch you. Sorry, you put yourself in that situation. So from all of us here in Toronto, Canada, on behalf of Dr. Erica and everybody in the Worship Media team here, my name is Dr. Chidi, and I'll see you guys in our next episode. Bye-bye.